Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sporting160EN podcast. We are on episode 128. I am your host for today, Sam Fonseca. Feel free to follow me down there. We have got a very star-studded podcast for you today, as well as a lot of controversial topics. But first, before we get into anything, we've got the troublemaker himself, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, boys. Interesting. I mean, since we've last talked to you guys, just an interesting time at Sporting, just the dynamics, the fucking election season, it's close because everyone be politicking out here, including me. So, yeah.
Yes, indeed. And lastly, we've got the return of a man we've not seen in a long time.
Yeah. Well, also, welcome back, Danny. I forgot this is technically your first reappearance.
It's been a fun 4 weeks for me, to be honest. But it's always I'm always happy to be back. It's fun being back. I was trying to listen to you guys as much as I can out there, but Wi-Fi and shit is so hard to get and all that. But you guys have been killing it as always. But yeah, man. Glad to be back, bro, talking about our Sporting. And I'm glad to be back in Canada because let me just say, I felt like I was the bad luck out there in Portugal. I went to go see Sporting Porto. We should have won. It was a 1-1. And then I go see Champions League and we get slapped. I was like, fuck that. I'm not watching another game live.
Yeah, let's get straight into the topic of conversation. If you don't follow our Twitter, feel free, first of all. But we have had quite a number of responses from not just our fans, but people who've just not heard of us before and just wanted to shit on us. So let's go straight
trying to fight.
Yeah. So Chris, I'll leave you to break this one down because I know it was a lot of your research gone into it. So feel free to take over and just take us through it.
Okay. So basically the background of this is last night there was an AG for the SAD, which is like an opportunity for the shareholders to just basically direct their questions at the administration, which they usually don't answer most or any of the important ones. But one of the shareholders, I don't remember his name, he was on, I believe he was on Dias Ferreira's finance. Like if Dias Ferreira had won in 2018, like he would have been his financial guy. So like, obviously, like he has his own reasons for opposing Varandas, I'm guessing. Maybe they're not the same as ours, but I'm guessing he does, presumably. He's run against them in the past, right? So he came up with this 22.9 million euro number, which I think this number is probably accurate if you break down like all the costs that I've broken down below. And I can get into why I think some of those numbers are slightly wrong. But I still think that 22.9 number is right if you want to like think about it this way. Here's the thing, like when we talk like transfers, you don't always like add in like the salary costs, right? It's like it's not standard. I mean, in some situations, maybe I'll give an example, like for Sporting, when we were trying to offload like players like Diaby and Battaglia, like the salary was like something that was discussed because it was like the main factor in wanting to move them, right? But like, for example, like no one ever talks about like Coat's salary or Esgaio's salary or Dan's salary because it's like it's not really relevant, So I guess like the main thing that I took out of this is that we paid 16.7 million euros for 70% of Paulinho's pass. Like that is the figure for the transfer. So if you don't want to take if you want to throw away the 22.9 because you think it's unfair to add the salary and the cost of not including Borja. You don't want to include the payment of Borja's salary. You don't want to include Paulinho's signing bonus. You think all that's we don't normally include it, just throw it away. Focus on the 16.7 for 70% number because that's the main number. That's how much we paid for him. And I think that's a pretty outrageous sum. We can all agree. We all shit on Paulinho. We've all seen Paulinho's performances lately. Why I think the numbers, specifically I think the Sporar number is wrong. Well, I think that Sporar's salary is like somewhere between 2.2 and 2.4 million euros a year. He went on loan in January, right? So that number is probably halved. And then the remaining 1.2 is possibly redistributed amongst Borja's salary or Paulinho's signing bonus. So, yeah. that's basically that. This caused a lot of controversy. I think the reason that this caused a lot of controversy is because like it's like an overtly political wedge. You know, we have an upcoming election. We have a seemingly vulnerable administration. We have a club record transfer signing who's like a fucking donkey currently. Like it's easy. It's like easy to drive a wedge, and it's like the first opportunity in a long time to like drive a wedge. So that's why this guy drove the wedge. But there's still a lot of, unanswered questions from the Saad AG that I think definitely deserve answering. I think as socios of Sporting, like we deserve to know like some of this stuff because it kind of gets shuffled under the rug, like us signing a 35-year lease with a parking garage with promise of investment for 6.6 million euros. Like, that was them telling us. Saucy's never heard anything about that. And most Sporting fans will never hear anything about that, probably, right? It's a fucking parking garage. But, like, I don't know. It matters, right? So, yeah, we'll get more into the politics and the AGs later. But that is my thoughts on the Paulinho fucking controversy of October 7th.
Yeah. Before I give it to Danny, I'm just going to take over a little bit because, I mean, a lot of them, the comments we got, some of them were fine. Like, some of them were just like, saying that they don't agree with this. But then others saying that we're not really true Sporting fans, or we've spoken about more about Paulinho being shit than like winning the title last year. And that's crazy to me because, like, that was last year. It's a new season and we're still undefeated in the league. Okay. But, like, getting embarrassed by Ajax is not good. We couldn't beat Famalicão. What do you want us to say? Oh, we lost 5-1 to Ajax, but yeah, we won the league last year. It's like literally it makes no sense. And for people to say like we're not proper Sporting fans for supporting Paulinho, it's like we do support Paulinho. We want him to turn it around. That's the thing. We're not shitting on him for no reason. But like we want to try and bring it around. Daddy, I don't know if you had any other thoughts on this at the moment.
No. The only thing to the controversy, I mean, it's only funny because it's not like we pulled this number out of thin air. Like we tend to do things off of what the journalists over there say. So I mean, Christian got this number from the Ebola cover, and then you do your own math to it, and you just put two and two together. I mean, they're shooting the messenger, which is fine. I mean. We're here at Sporting160EN, we're not short to controversy. We always have to have at least one per year.
It's not,
so it's not a big deal. Yeah. At this point,
keeps it interesting, right?
Exactly. Keeps it relevant, boys. Like, no, but like, and I'm just shocked to see like how many people are defending him, even though like I feel like he's like been the black sheep to us. You know what I mean? Like at least my time in Portugal, like there was nobody really like. Oh, we have to, defend Paulinho. It's like in the stands, it's, oh my fucking God, Paulinho, why are you passing it there? Or just shoot the fucking ball. Watching it at a Núcleo in Porto, it was the same thing. Everybody's just bashing Paulinho. So for us to get this sort of heat online off some numbers that, seem, I mean, I agree with them.
Maybe the number was created and exaggerated by a bad faith actor for his own political gain. But the reality of the situation is it's still a fucking absurd transfer. Why are you getting mad at us for that?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not that far. Even if it is a bit absurd, it's not that far off. And just the main figure, like you were saying, 16.7 for 70%, not even the full 100.
The club's record transfer.
That's ridiculous. And he's coming up about the same amount of I think it was like last week, something was tweeted about it or some sort of record came out. He almost has as many games as Sporar and hasn't scored as much as Sporar. And Sporar is like notoriously like missing open nets. So
Paulinho has more yellow cards this season than goals.
He's a striker. Yeah. Paulinho has more goals than Paulinho. It's ridiculous.
But it's our fault, Danny. Just remember that. It's our fault.
Look at you started, bro. It's your fault, man.
Let's just get on to Twitter questions as well. We got Steph asking, with Pot coming back, do you think Pot, Sarabia and Paulinho could fit into Ruben Amorim's tactical design? I would like to see all three play together. Danny, I'll give that one to you. Seeing them live, not Pot obviously being injured, but Sarabia, Paulinho, and Nuno Santos, etc. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it can work. I think talking about Paulinho, like one of his strong suits is bringing the play together. So having two, I mean, Sarabia has yet to score for us, but the last game against Arouca was a lot more promising. Seeing, and of course we're missing Potts goals. I think the fit is perfect. Whether we play with 3 at the back or whether Mourinho finally plays 4 at the back, we'll eventually see. I don't believe it, but either or, playing a 4-3-3 or a 5-2 or a 5-3. What is it? A 3-4-3, I should say. Either one would work, and I think that once Pot is back and healthy, I think that actually is going to be our lineup going forward.
Yeah, that's fair. Chris, we'll talk more about the actual game, but do you think Bragança deserves to still be in the starting lineup? And if so, who would you replace?
I mean, I kind of like the idea of basically Saturday or Sunday. I'm all fucked up. We normally do the pod earlier in the week. I don't even remember what day the game was. I think it was Saturday.
It was Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, it was Saturday.
But replace Paulinho with Pot. And we played with the 3 mids. You got Nuno Santos on the left. You got Porro on the right. Bragança, Mateus, Paulinho through the middle. Sarabia, Pot up top. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like we should give that a shot. So I think that there's a way, clearly, for Bragança to stay in. Obviously, there's some games, maybe Mateus Nunes is getting some, maybe some rest because he's been playing a lot. Maybe he'll play for Portugal over the break. Who knows? Maybe he'll get some, pick up some minutes on his legs before the Bulnes game that other players don't. So I think we actually have a pretty good mix between those two. Maybe we compare Bragança with Paulinho. You compare Bragança with Ugarte. Like, compare Mateus with Ugarte. You can play with 3 of them. You can play with Paulinho, Ugarte, and one of Bragança or Mateus. Like, I think there's a lot of different combinations. And Nuno Santos being hopefully a liable left wing back will be hopefully a much needed game changer. Being able to have that left side more solidified and being able to have the 3 midfielders all together.
Yeah, a question to both of you, which is asked by Steph as well. We've all seen Vinagre's not been up to top form, whether that's lack of fitness or lack of confidence. Do you think it's time to bring Nuno Santos in at left wing back, or maybe try out Matthews Rice there as a solution for now? Danny, I see you smirking over there. What are your thoughts?
Honestly, okay, for right now, I think the solution is Nuno Santos. The day or the performance that the game that we need a more defensive left side, we should go with Mateus Reich. I think he's convinced me, boys. I think he's definitely, the more minutes he's been getting, the more at least acquainted with the team he's been getting. He, don't get me wrong, he does have some smellers, and his smellers stink. But when he's on, I mean, at least maybe because he knew I was in Portugal, baby, and he knew he had
defensively.
But when I was out there, he was balling. Let's call a spade a spade. And Vinagre, he has regressed. I think Vinagre, he needs some confidence. I think maybe sitting out a bit might do him well. And then if he comes on one game and he just kills it, I think then we'll see Vinagre really push forward. But
should we go with him against Bulnes?
No, we should go with Nuno Santos, I think, or Mateus Reis, either or right now. To me,
what about one of the young boys, like someone from the B?
Nazinho, I think, is the main left back.
Do you think he needs to get some burn, or you reckon just keep it with that?
I don't know how cocky we should play against them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Virginia, probably will play. Hope he's not a fucking nightmare.
He better play. Yeah.
Yeah. Last question from Paul Rodriguez. Chris, I'll give this one to you. We spoke about it briefly, but do you think Ruben Amorim needs to switch formation to unlock more goal scoring, such as a 4-4-2, 4-3-3? Do you have any other formations in mind that you think would suit Sporting at the moment?
I would be curious to see. It's hindsight's always 20/20, but maybe the 3-5-2 would have been better suited in some of these Champions League games rather than the 3-4-3. I truthfully don't think he's ever going to play 4 at the back. It seems like he'll change other things, but he doesn't seem to be changing that. He really never has. Do you remember even for a portion of the game, has Sporting ever gone to 4 at the back? Really?
I think last season once or twice, but I can't remember.
Not recently.
If it's a red card or an injury.
Yeah, that doesn't count. It's like
not out of like merit. Like
I think our options are 3-5-2 or 3-4-3. So but Against is in great form. So we got 3 midfielders, all in pretty good to quite good form. So let's maximize our strength, which is like midfield depth. Apparently, it's not forward depth.
Let's get straight on to the game then. So we beat Arouca 2-1. Goals from Matheus Nunes and Nuno Santos respectively. The lineup was followed: down in goal, Esgai, Quartes, Matheus Reis, Pellegrini, Braganza, Porro, Sarabia, Matheus Nunes, and Paulinho. Luis Neto, Tabata, Thiago Tomas, Jovan Cabral, and Ugarte, who exists apparently, came on. Danny, let's start with you. What were your overall thoughts on the game? And just what were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, a good game from us, a decent response, I should say, to a tough 1-0 loss in Dortmund. Another away game, rainy in Viseu. I thought we played well, though. After the 1-0, we kind of went to sleep, which is my biggest issue with this Sporting team. Their goal kind of came from a counterattack from a corner, which kind of scares me, because if they can really, if teams like Arouca can really capitalize on a counterattack like that, I can only imagine what other teams with a bit more to their team can do. But overall, I thought a very good dominating performance. I can't remember now if it was our first, or it was definitely our first goal, where we just passed it around the back. I think we had a solid 20 touches. Lucky to score the second goal. Nuno Santos did kind of get it from a frango on the keeper's near side, through the defender's legs, though, to be fair. So, but I think we were overall the better team. Paulinho, though, again, back on him, another smeller of a performance. There was one chance specifically that I can remember that, it probably wouldn't have counted because he was offside, but it was from a cross that was coming in, and he, instead of heads it towards the net, he heads it in an area where it's either Quach can tap it in, or it can maybe go in the net, but he's just in the middle of the two, so it just goes out. It's reminding me of towards the end.
He also had it on right in the 5th minute, right in the keeper's face.
Yes,
from 4 yards out.
It was a big save from the keeper. To be fair, it was a big save from the keeper.
The keeper came out hard, but it's you were rooting to him. If he scores in the 5th minute, dude, he's got the whole game now of confidence.
Exactly. And we see it on the Ajax game when he scored the first one. I only seen the images after, but he could have scored the second one. And if that goes in, I don't know how you guys saw it. I don't know if it was an offside or not. It looked pretty close to me, but I didn't see any of the lines. If that goes in my eyes, it's sus. I agree. If that goes in 3-2, that's a different ball game. And then Paulinho, today we're probably saying, 22.9 or 16.7, that's a fucking bargain. But because it didn't, it is what it is.
We might not be saying that, but it wouldn't be as easy to drive a wedge into this administration by shitting on them if he was performing at least averagely,
Exactly. Scoring or at least assisting, because there are some Sporting fans that want to say that Paulinho isn't a striker. So whatever that means.
Not sure what he is then.
Me neither. A false 9, buddy. A false 9. But anyways, what I'm saying is he's reminding me a bit of towards the end of Bas Dost, where we were all frustrated with Bas Dost, where he went from this prolific goal scorer, Bas Dost specifically, because Paulinho was never a prolific goal scorer, to a guy that would be in front of the net and passing it back. And that's the only frustrating thing with me so far with Paulinho, is that one, he's not providing the numbers, but it's just mate, get it together, man. Have a shot at net or be decisive at some point. But who knows? Maybe time will tell, and hopefully he'll get his act together. Aside from that, solid performance from the rest of us. Sarabia finally showing up in this game, which is good. He had another good performance today for Spain, but that's kind of the norm. Nuno Santos, we were talking about left back. He looks like he's going to be our left wing back for at least a few games going forward. So, yeah, my overall thoughts were we were solid, and yeah.
Yeah, Chris, on the back of that, definitely a different formation, a different lineup to what we're used to, rather. What were your thoughts, not just on the lineup, but in the game in general?
Yeah, I was actually, pretty pleasantly impressed by Arouca, to be honest. Or at least in this game, they were efficient in their chance creating. They easily could have scored, I feel like, 2, maybe 3 goals, like if they're like lightning decisive, and maybe we tie this game, maybe we even like lose this game it's a rainy night, like crazier things have happened. So, respect to them, to be honest, for this performance. The Palestinian striker is certainly interesting, to say the least. But yeah, we did, like, right from the get-go, jump out right on top. Dude, Sarabia, within 20 seconds, dribbles like 4 dudes and has a go and forces a save within 20 seconds. The Paulinho chance had like 5 minutes, another great chance. It's like we're knocking on the door, and then in 12 minutes is the goal. So it's like bang, 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 just all Sporting. And I'm like, we're good. We're good. This is going to be like a 4-0 finally. Everyone's going to get on the score sheet, and everyone's going to be happy. But ended up being a little bit trickier than that. They after the goal, I'd say the tide kind of turned maybe like the 30th minute, and then for like 10-15 minutes they had like a breakaway, I think, and the Palestinian guy put it wide, and then right at the start of the second half, that counterattack is absolutely devastating. That dude just runs straight through the entire team as Gallo gets absolutely torched. Like, it's tough. I mean, the guy's literally running full speed, and as Gallo's just standing still, so he has no chance. Puts in a good cross. It kind of bangs around a little bit, and then the Palestinian guy puts it in like with an acrobatic shot. I mean, they kind of deserved the goal. They had like 3 good chances. That was probably the hardest one to score, but they did it. And then pretty much right after that, right, was the Nuno Santos goal, and then after that, Ugarte comes in, and we kind of clamp it down, I would say. And Neto comes in as well. It just kind of shores up, and then they did like with the initiative for the last, like, I don't know, like 20 minutes or so. They had the one like half chance really, but nothing really. So just it's a decisive win. We were efficient again. As far as 2 expected goals, 2 goals. Could have scored more in the first half. It would have been nice, but in the end, did enough. It's a tough win on the road against a reasonable team. Like, from what I saw, I don't expect them to go down. They seem decent enough. They can just get maybe a little bit more efficient up top, but like some interesting players. So yeah, my overall thoughts are, I like the new formation. I like Bragança, another great game. I almost want to see a game of Thiago Tomas up top from the start so we can evaluate him. And just, I mean, he played plenty of games for us last season, starting playing 90 minutes. Like, we were champions. Like, it's not that crazy for him to start. Like, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do with more than 20. Oh, yeah, you're right. But not up top. He played on the wing.
Yeah, true.
I want to see him play up top. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll probably see him against Belenenses.
Sure.
If they play Paulinho for this.
They're really just trying to get him a fucking score. Just get a PK. Everyone just try to get PKs. Play like the PK drawing style, Francisco Conte. So everyone's just looking for contact in the box at all times. Just, all right, dude, score this. All right, we're good. It's resolved. He scored. But yeah, did what we needed to do on the road. Not easy. Made it a little bit more difficult than we needed to, but Nuno Santos, Bragança, new formation. Sarabia, good game, assist. I liked it.
Yeah, not to piggyback off what you two both have said, but Bragança was phenomenal. I said a few podcasts ago that I think at the moment he's better coming off the bench, and he proved me wrong. I think he needs to start, especially teams with like a low block and will park the bus like Arouca did. I mean, they had a few excellent chances, but a lot of these teams are going to be playing against. They're going to be sort of parking the bus and waiting for us to make a mistake and catch on the counter. And I feel like Bragança unlocks a lot of the creativity that we have sort of lacked. Another great game from Matheus Nunes. I thought he played well. Sarabia included as well, probably his best performance to date. We spoke about it earlier, Matthews Rice. I think 2 solid back-to-back games. I think he's starting to sort of find his feet at least. Hopefully I don't jinx it. But I feel like the team is steadily improving. I think in all positions. Nuno Santos as well, makeshift left wing back. Got the goal. But definitely there's been an improvement on Vinagre. Pedro Porro I thought was average. There wasn't much to shout about this game, but he can't score a banger every game, or he can't play phenomenal every game. So that's
16 successful crosses, shit like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean with creativity. We create a lot of chances that are crosses, and that's pretty much it. Braganza is through balls, passing, not much crossing from him, but I mean, I think this game suited him down to the ground, and I think he needs to start some more. We sort of complained last year, John Murray was getting minutes over him. We didn't think that should happen. Same with Matheus Nunes. I think Palhinha you can't drop at all because he's Palhinha. But yeah, I think even Adan got man of the match from goal point. I can see why, but personally, I'm going to give them man of the match to Braganza. Danny, who are you going to give man of the match to?
Yeah, I'll agree with goal point on this one only because there was a few, even though there were somewhat easy chances to save, he still had to be there to save them. And I mean, I can't speak enough about Adan. I know a lot of us are not a lot of us, but I have seen some murmurs around because Luis Max now is doing well, and I'm happy for the kid. But I'm glad Adan is still keeping it up, because if not, then the Paulinho situation would also be an Adan situation, and things can get ugly, but Adan really kept us in the game, so I'm gonna give him man of the match.
Yeah, Chris, what about you? Who do you think deserves man of the match?
I'm gonna go. For me, it's between 2. I'm gonna go Braganza, with a shout out to Sarabia, by far his best game.
You're on mute. Just a quick shout out to Matheus Reis, bro. Didn't put a fucking foot wrong this game. Let's go.
I saw that 6.3 on goal point. Don't think I didn't notice.
That. We see you.
I was just going to show you the league table. Quite a surprise over the weekend. Benfica dropping points to Portimonense. Not only dropping points, losing to Portimonense. Let me just get that up for you now. So the only 2 unbeaten teams in the league are Porto and Sporting. Both level on points. Porto have a better goal difference. Looking at the league table at the moment, Danny, obviously I think everyone will say they're surprised that Benfica dropping points, especially to Portimonense. But
yeah.
What are you thinking at the moment in terms of league table? Who are your favourites still? I know you had a lot of hate from me when you didn't name us, but looking at it now, who do you think the favourites are?
They're still my favorites. I won't say their names. They're still my favorites. I think they're still balling this season, but let me just say, good things happen when Benfica lose. Portugal becomes champions of the world when they lose. So long may it continue. But I mean, the surprise shout is Estoril being this high up. I definitely expected them to have a really good season this season.
Fresh off
being
promotion.
4th. Sorry? Yeah, fresh off promotion. Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, it was a tough game against them when we did play them in Estoril. So, 15 points, just 5 points behind Sporting and Porto. They're looking really good. Portimonense, I mean, they stole 3 points from Benfica. They're up there ahead of Braga, who tied to Boavista, if I'm not mistaken, this weekend 2-2. I'm happy to see Guimarães and Boavista up there. Let's hope that they can continue up even further. But I mean, in terms of my favorites, listen, I'm only rooting for one team, but I still think they're favorites to win this. With the investment in the past 2 years and the manager, the caliber of manager that they have, it'd be what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a shame. I mean, it'd be happiness for me, but I guess it'd be a shock if they didn't win it.
Yeah, I'm keen to agree. Obviously, can never count out Porto in a title race either, but I think for me, Benfica are the favourites. Chris, looking at the table, just the top of the table for now. What are your thoughts going in? What was that? Was that week 5 or 6 we're on at the moment, or was that say 8? There we go. Sorry, can't see that far down, but yeah, 8.
Yeah, I mean the Benfica loss definitely. It's like we're right there again. I don't know if they got 1 shot, 1 goal,
It was damn near. Yeah, it was damn near that. They had about like 20.
Yeah, so it's probably a bit unlucky on Benfica there, but I mean, that felt like it was coming for us in one of these games. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like it maybe a little bit less now after the Arouca game, which was like somewhat more convincing. I guess the Marítimo game wasn't bad. Yeah, I would say weeks, like 1 through 5, 6. It was sus. Basically all of them are by 1 goal, right? Still, always have to do it like that. So yeah, I mean, we're keeping pace. Like, it's 1 point. I mean, obviously Portimonense and Estoril are kind of interesting. Let's see if they can keep that up. Petit, my guy Petit, practice canceled for a meeting with the administrators. Yes. My guy is probably shitting his pants. In the end, got their vote of confidence, and
which only means he's sacked in like 3 weeks.
On a short leash. He's on a short leash.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Arouca as well, I feel unfair for them to be in 16th the way they've played so far. Like we mentioned,
they'll turn it around. And Santa Clara, low key,
yes, I was gonna say,
is in fucking shambles. Their coach just left. Like, all their good players left. Like, around the fucking playoff for the Conference League, lost critical players. They're certainly a candidate potentially finish in the bottom 3 now, I would say, which would be unfortunate. Yeah. What a complete disaster that would be,
Yeah, I mean,
I'm interested to see what happens to them. Sorry, Sam. I'm interested to see what happens to them because I was actually in San Miguel for 6 days when I was out there, and they ride for their team, the Sorians out there. So I grew a bit more of a respect to Santa Clara, and when I was there, they did tie against Braga. But I mean, they had ballers. They have Lincoln. They had the lad that left to Saudi Arabia. And now their manager going.
Yeah, they're getting raided by the Middle East.
They their shit together because they were this close for making Conference League, and they're about to pull a Riwav. I think they might pull a Riwav.
Yeah, that is not. Yeah, they're literally on the exact trajectory as that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna say at the end as well. Fuck Famalicão. I hope they go down. As I've said,
fuck be sad too. I hope they go too.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Both of them can go down. Santa Clara stay up. I like Santa Clara.
The 2 boys that came up, Arouca, Vizela. I like them both. I hope they both stay.
Fair.
And Estoril up there. Yeah, Estoril, Vizela, Arouca.
Personally, with our history with Arouca, I don't mind them going down. But I mean, they're decent. They're decent. I wouldn't lose sleep if they got relegated though.
Yeah. So next game is against the Real Belenenses, and is it Taça de Portugal, Taça de Liga?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Taça Portugal.
Yep.
Yes. So difficult to give predictions without knowing the team that we're going to bring in. We have some players on international duty. Thiago Tomas, Speaker of the Devil, scored in a 10-0, I believe it was, win.
11. It ended up being 11.
Oh, I stopped watching it. I
got home and I read it. I didn't even know we were playing.
Yeah, nor did I until someone added me. I think it was Nuno when Thiago Tomas scored. Just went like, "This one's." So I was like, "Okay, fair enough." But without knowing like the fitness, and we've seen reports of like the youngsters training with the first team. What are your guys' thoughts? What are you hoping for? Are you hoping more of sort of a rotation, especially with the youngsters? Or you just wanted to go out there and just assert dominance? Chris, I'll give it to you first.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be a mix. Not like a full rotation, but like for example, Inácio I think is going to play, and like that's not normally a rotation, but in this context it is because he hasn't played. Same with Pot. I'm not sure if they're. I would say Inácio is more likely to start than Pot, but there's a chance they could both start. And those are normally not rotation players, but they're going to be rotation players in this context. And I welcome both of them back. Probably going to swap the goalie. Maybe Kawats gets a break. Well, actually, I know Kawats gets a break because he's playing. He's going to be on the Uruguay roster 24 hours before the game. He's going to be in South America, so he's not going to be there. So they're going to have to do it without him. Inácio, Fidal, Race Sedasiu Fidel Netum, maybe, which is like not the craziest thing in the world, right? We've done it before. Be interesting to see who goes on the left, right? Maybe he gets Vinag some minutes, chance to get his confidence up. He'll have some, definitely opportunities to attack. We'll see what the formation he goes. I think Ugarte will probably sub for Palinha. That feels like an obvious one. He's deserved minutes. He's not gotten them basically through no fault of his own. He's what are you gonna do, right? You're behind the best CDM in Portugal. You're unlucky, lad. Bragança, again, rotation player, kind of, but kind of been a starter recently. Like, does he get a break or does he get a chance to keep evolving as they do two mids, Ugarte and Bragança? And then on the wings, we'll see more rotation. Tabata will probably start. Thiago Tomas might start on the wing or up top. So, yeah, I think it's going to be like a healthy mix. And hopefully there's a no Alverca situation occurring.
Yeah, definitely. Danny, do you have anything to add? Is there anyone who you'd like to see start against the Real Belenenses?
Yeah, no, I agree with everything that Chris was saying. I'm just trying to think of maybe if Kalai might start in center back instead of maybe Fidal. I think Fidal might get a rest as well. I'm trying to see the group of youngsters that we tweeted out recently that was with the squad. But anyways, yeah, I think the left back...
Actually, you know what else is a sleeper? Gonçalo Esteves. I bet he plays at some point.
I think he might come off the bench. I think Gaio might start, but yes, I agree. Yeah. I agree. In terms of everybody that he called up, I don't see any of the other guys starting, but definitely some bench players here, like Bernardo Souza, maybe.
If we go up a lot, it's fair game for literally anyone. But I assume it will be not like a 6-0 or something. I think they're quality.
It'll be a respectable. I think it'll be a good.
They're a top Campeonato Portugal team at this point, or they've been multiple promotions in a row. I think they're in the Campeonato, the 4th division now. So they're not gonna just roll over.
I think they're in the 3rd. I could be wrong, but I think
because it's the new Liga 3. That's technically the 3rd now, with like what Portuguese in.
And they're not in there.
No, they're still still below that. They had to come up. They had to come up from the fucking like rec league,
Yeah. Okay. I thought they had made it up from there, but yeah, I can see José Marça making at least the bench, maybe Vandu Felix, but I don't think so yet. But yeah, I agree with everything he was saying, with what Chris was saying. I'll predict on the wings it'll be Thiago Tomás, Jovan. Which isn't like Chris was saying. He was a starter, but he's more rotation. It might be just to gain some confidence. I want to say Tabata on the other side, but I'm trying to think of another winger we might have. But
he came into the middle. He came into the middle against Arouca for what it's worth. But I don't think he plays in the middle unless there's 3 mids.
Yes, that too. But I also which he might play in the middle, and we have Jovan and Thiago Tomás up top. I'm trying to think of I think Amorim might have him in the middle, like to start with Bragança instead of Ugarte, because I see Amorim really liking him as an 8 more than as a winger, which is crazy to me because I like Tabata. I think every time he's come on, he's had some positive moments, and he deserves to start
underrated.
More,
he was so underrated last season as just kind of like a Swiss Army knife to come in like weird situations.
And in this season, I think he's continuing in that same vein. I mean, he came on against Dortmund and he played well. He came on against Arouca, and I thought he did well. So it's just, I don't think midfield is his position. I think we're just trying to fit him in somewhere, because aside from that, it's like where, like in the winger position, like we have Jovan, Sarabia, Nunes can play up there. Like he's like on the lower end of that list.
Sarabia won't play at all. He'll be out.
Definitely. I'm just saying, like overall depth, he's like 5th or 6th choice, So
yeah, for sure.
That's why I think he's just trying to plug holes in the middle. But I'll have Tabata on the right wing. Hopefully he starts. I like Tabata.
Yeah, just to sort of bounce off of that. The only 3 players though I'd like to see get minutes. Well, I'll say 2 to start and 1 to get minutes. I definitely want to see Ugarte start and Bruno Tabata, as we've been saying, whether that's in the middle or on the wing. I mean, this is the game to experiment formation, I guess. You're not going to have a better opportunity. No disrespect to the Real Belenenses or anything like that, but it's easier to sort of experiment against the team that they are than against an Arouca or Estoril. So yeah, those two, and then I like to see Jose Marsa either start or off the bench. Definitely a lot of hype around the kid. So I say kid, I think he's the same age as me. But I mean, from coming from the academy, La Masia, and all that shit, definitely comes with not only hype but weight on his shoulders too. Seems to be trusted by Amorim. He's part of the.
He definitely has some sort of like verbal promise or handshake promise from Amorim that like he'll be in the first team like very soon.
Yeah, and just
that's how I'm sure there was multiple teams probably competing for him, and we had to make a offer to try to convince him to not go to like Ajax or another great academy or something like that.
Speaking of Ajax, just to come off that point, the game after is Besiktas, I believe.
Ajax lost this weekend. Ajax lost
1-0.
Yep.
To FC Utrecht, I believe.
Yeah, it was Utrecht. Yeah. But like looking at the group, Besiktas and us still level on points. But obviously, Besiktas got a better goal difference. Ajax and Dortmund still on the same points. But we've got, mathematically, there is 12 points we could pick up because we've got Besiktas twice, Dortmund, and Ajax to play still. Out of those 12 possible points, Chris, how many should we be getting, and how many do you think we're going to get?
So, the best case scenario of 12 out of those 12 is 10, which is unlikely. But it would be possible. It would be beating Besiktas twice, beating one of the Ajax or Dortmund, and tying the other one. What is most realistic? Probably most realistic on the optimistic side. Beating Besiktas once and drawing them, getting 4, and then
I was gonna say,
and then maybe collecting a point from the remaining 2, so 5 points. And I think that's enough to get third. 5 points. Especially in the context of only letting Besiktas get, 1 point from us.
Mm-hmm.
If we drop a game to Besiktas, dude, it's going to be like fucking the Legia Warsaw goal difference situation on like the final day. And ours isn't good because we caught a fatty. So, yeah. It all comes down to these Besiktas games, I think. And then, if Besiktas manages to pull a result against Ajax or Dortmund or something because like they feel like they're already through or whatever, that's ass, Maybe we tie both of them and get, like 4 and then 6 instead of 5. Maybe we beat Besiktas twice. The range is 5 to 8, I think. Certainly it's lower than 5 is definitely an option too. But as that I'm like willing to entertain. Disaster is lost to Dortmund, lost to Ajax, lost to Besiktas, tied to Besiktas, 1 or 3 maybe. One Besiktas win, and then other Besiktas lost, Dortmund lost, Ajax lost. And then watch Besiktas get 4 and we have 3 and then we're out.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny, same question to you. So most realistic and what you hope and what you think.
I'm hoping for the bare minimum, I'm hoping at least 6 points. I'm hoping we can beat them away and home. With that being said, I do realize that Besiktas, they're not an easy feat. They've been in Champions League a lot more than we have. They've had these European nights a lot more recently than we have. So it's going to be a tough ask, but I think we're capable of it. From what I've seen of our group, Besiktas don't really have anything going for them. We were just unfortunate against Ajax. And I think we've learned that lesson as well. I see the way we played against Dortmund. We were a lot more reserved, but I think if we want anything against Dortmund or even Ajax, we need to play a bit more like a smaller club, just because we haven't been here that often. But with that being said, yes, I'm hopeful for at least 6 points. I think like Chris, 5 is like very probable. We can beat Besiktas, draw away from home, and then draw one of them once at least. I can even see us getting 7 points, but 6, and I'm happy. We can lose against Dortmund and Ajax. just beat Besiktas twice, and I think we're through to Europa, and then from Europa League we can have a decent campaign because there's some good teams in there. Don't get me wrong, but we can compete with that level a bit more than I think Champions League going to the next round at least. But hopefully 6. We'll see.
Yeah, just to add to that, in case you weren't aware, or anyone wasn't aware, if we do finish third, we have to play a second place team in Europa to technically go into the next round. So we could still get third, then crash out anyway. So it's going to be difficult either way. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was this year. It might be next year, but
I think it's this year.
It might be this year. It might be this year with the Conference League. I didn't know that's what they were doing. Interesting.
Yeah, so
it's like a playoff. It's like a 2-round or what?
No, the round of 32 is now the second place teams and the Champions League teams, and the group winners of Europa League they get a bye to the round of 16.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking, like, for example, if Leicester finish second, we come up against the Leicester. I can't name every team in the Europa League, but it will be difficult. But for me, looking at our group at the moment, if we lose to Besiktas at home, that's our competition done for me. Mathematically, obviously, still possible to get even Champions League at that point, or even still Europa League, but that will absolutely shatter confidence, I think. And
we can't we can't advance. If we lose the next game, we can't advance because there will probably be a team with 7 or 9 points. Like, what are we gonna fucking make up 3 games? You know, it's not gonna happen.
But let me ask you guys this then: if we do crash out of Champions League, we come 4th. Do you guys see that as a silver lining? Like, if we're still in the competition, like if we're still like amongst it, like we're 1 point off Benfica. Yeah, because I think one of the biggest things from last year is that we weren't in European competition, so we were able to rest. Like, how big of that?
We didn't go far in the Taça either. We crashed out against Maritimo. I think in the
we won Taça Liga though.
We did win Taça Liga, but that's only if you go to the final now. The whole thing is 4 games, so it's not even that many anymore.
Yeah.
If we crash out, then I don't think there's a silver lining for us because
it's embarrassing. We're pot 1, bro. Like, it's embarrassing to crash out.
Yeah, like Benfica beat, but not beat. They trounced Barcelona, and like, no disrespect to Ajax, Dortmund, and Besiktas. I mean, are Barcelona worse than any of those teams at the moment?
I think they are.
Make a case for it. Maybe Dortmund. Ajax, I think.
I think Ajax slaps this Barcelona team.
Yeah, I think they probably do too.
Maybe not Besiktas, but Ajax slaps them as well. I think Ajax is like on the same caliber level as us. They just caught us on a really bad day.
Yeah, and I think our best chance to beat Dortmund was without Haaland, and he's like, if all goes well, obviously he could pick up another injury, but he'll be back for the game against us. And, you know, they had other players out, which I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think Witsel wasn't at full fitness. He came off the bench, I believe. But there was just so many sort of like people that just weren't up to full fitness or weren't playing. So I don't think a win against Dortmund is going to happen, unfortunately. I think our best chances are Ajax, because I think hopefully the players will be more up for it. That's sort of like a revenge game. And Besiktas, I think, are probably I'm not going to say easiest because that's not the word I want to use, but we have the best chance of beating them than beating the other 2. But yeah, if we crash out, then I think it's bad unless we like do a treble domestically.
It's bad for the coefficient, bad for our finances, it's bad for our reputation. It's bad for many different reasons.
Yeah.
Especially like the manner if we crash out. Imagine if we get spanked by Ajax again, or Dortmund at home, or Besiktas at home. It's just we're going to look like embarrassments. And if you look at, like, for example, Sheriff, who have beaten Real Madrid, and like look at them, like we're better than them. No disrespect again, but like if they can do it, why can't we? Why can't we beat Ajax or Dortmund or Besiktas? And if they, I think they're on 6 points at the moment, Sheriff. So
they are, yeah.
And it's like no one's asking. It's not like we have PSG. You know, it's like these are all tier 2 of the top. You know, like they're still the tippy top teams, and these, to all respect, isn't any of them. This isn't Bayern. This isn't PSG. You know, I would even say, like, you know, the Man United right now, Man City. You know, this is the cream of the crop, and we have like the secondary, and we got hammered by one, and we're deservedly beat by the other.
We could have stolen a point. I felt
Could
if
have
we
stolen. We
got
could
a
have
point in
shithoused it.
Dortmund,
It would have been a shithouse.
it would have been justified. But yes, I agree. It's been tough luck for us. It's been a hard pill to swallow. But I think our fortunes will change. I don't know about second place, but I think our fortunes will change.
I hope.
Yeah, I hope so as well. But that's pretty much done with like the game section of the podcast. Chris, I know you were speaking about the AG earlier. If you've got anything to add, floor is yours.
Okay, yeah. So since the last pod, I don't even remember at this point. Like the last like week is like a blur, honestly. I think it was October 1st. It was a Thursday night. It must have been last week. It must have been last Thursday, maybe the 30th of September.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. So we talked about it. I think we did a pod the night before. And we talked about it, the 4 points, the financial results from 2019-20, which were rejected at the beginning of last season and then never revoted on again until this last Thursday. The results from this past season, and then what was the other? I have it up. Oh, the budget for this upcoming season. Results from 19-20, results from 2021. Budget for 21-22, and naming of the gates after player names, which has basically already been decided. Apparently, were you at Alvalade, Danny? Can you accept? You were there.
Like, I was there. I didn't notice.
You don't. It wasn't something you were looking for. Yeah,
but yes, there are no different names. I
you didn't see beautiful. You don't remember seeing beautiful Manuel Fernandes smiling.
I think I did. I can't remember who else. I remember seeing Peruteu at least. I can't remember everybody else.
Yeah, so it's basically already done. But it was voted on and it was approved. It was the only thing of the 3 that were approved. The other 3 things, the financial related points, were all rejected. And that honestly, like that was like it sent a shockwave through like the sporting world. I would say that result. The spin zone from the Varandas crew. Like, obviously, this is now like a throwback because this was like last week. It feels like each day feels like a fucking eternity. So many things happen on each day on Twitter. It's like 3 days. It's like, oh my God, that fucking thing we were talking about 3 days ago feels like, 3 years ago. So last week feels like so long ago. But so Varandas has an AG Thursday night at 6:00. Okay. The reason for that is he's trying to kind of depress the turnout. He's just trying to shithouse a 1-0. He's just trying to shithouse a 51%. He doesn't give a fuck. He knows it was rejected last year. He stalled it for over a year, and he's been like dreading this. He's just trying to shithouse his way through. And obviously, he thought that he could. And everyone was surprised when. So the results are 63% against, 36% for, 58% against, 42% for, 58% against, 42% for, and then on the one that passed, 58% for, 42% against. So I mean, like a reasonable sized win. There were 700 voters, which was low, obviously. There's been AGs Sporting with like 200, 400 voters, so it's not unprecedented to have super low turnout at stuff like this, especially if you're having on a Thursday night. You're low key trying to do that, as we just talked about. So the next day, after he catches the fat L, he has to show his face a little bit and kind of, he can't just hide. I guess he could just hide, but it would be a little embarrassing and obvious what's going on. So he comes out thundering that this was only because of a small minority of fans, 1% maniacs are just trying to obstruct everything that he does. And that's the reason why, the only reason why it failed is because there's a small minority. It's the tiniest fraction of absolute maniacs that just hate me. So if my man is concerned about so few people, if there's just a tiny minority that is against you, why don't you just have it on, a game day or a Saturday on a weekend? Not even a game day, just a weekend, a day that's accessible to everyone. If there's just a couple hundred people that are against you, just some food for thought on that one. And obviously, the new AG is the 23rd, the day of the Moreirense game. So you can schedule them for game days. You can schedule them for the weekends, as you're now demonstrating, because now he can't do it again now. because he knows if he does that again, he's just going to have the same thing. So he has to open it up now more, and there'll certainly be a larger turnout. Like it'll probably be like 8,000, 9,000, something like that. Like it's not going to be insane, but much larger vote share. So we're really going to get a sense for like the pulse of Sportingista Nation and the future of Verandas, I think, on the 23rd, when he'll try to repass these 3 points again. If you've sensed like a change in wins, it's not just you, it's real. Like the results getting declined, basically like injected life into the non-existent. It's still not a coordinated opposition in any way, but the ragtag opposition that existed, it was galvanized by this result. As socios now, we have very little way to have our voice heard. We didn't vote on the 35-year lease on the parking lot. Maybe it would have got approved if it went out for a vote, but we didn't have a say, and they would have a say in shit. They just do whatever they want, and then they tell us after the fact. Sometimes they don't even tell us, and we like find out through like internet sleuths what's happening, So like one of the few ways we can have our say is to just, in these AGs, the rare occasions that they come up to voice our displeasure. And another critique that I want to acknowledge, because it might seem reasonable on its face, like, oh, rejecting the financial results, which already happened. It has that's not how you oppose this president. Like, this has nothing to do with that. These two things aren't related. Even if I grant you that point, which I don't even think is true, because I think the financial health of the club's sustainability, the club's infrastructure is equally as important as the financial or as the sporting results, because if there's no financial stability, there's no structure, there's no management, there is no sports teams, there is no sports results. So I think they're important, and I think they should be analyzed separately. So they say, these financial results don't mean anything. If anything, this is a great season for modalities, a great season for the football team, 2 trophies, the league title after so long. What are we doing rejecting these results? It has nothing to do with opposing the president. And the reason is because it's one of the few things that we can have a say in. We can do this. Like, it's an overt political action, but it's also an overt political action to have it on a Thursday night and just try to shithouse the results. So if people politic back at you, and after you tried to, do your fucking Weasley thing, I mean, it's just kind of expected. And yeah, you can hate the dirty politics, the people doing the calculator math, coming out with 22.9 because they're adding the salary. They're paying for Borja's salary after we sold him. I mean, it is kind of crazy, right? But it's not that much money in the grand scheme of things. So if you think that's Weasley or whatever, I get it. It's fucking politics, right? But yeah, that's pretty much my analysis of it all. Yeah, I mean, if you have questions, obviously you can DM me. Always, you can DM the Sporting160 account, my personal account. I try to follow this stuff pretty closely, and obviously it's been like a contentious, week or so, and spoiler alert, it's going to stay this way until the 23rd, until after that AG. And let me tell you, if the 3 points get rejected again, I think Sporting has anticipated elections. There will be elections before March because he can't pass the damn budget. That's basically like a triple vote of no confidence. I mean, he has to stand for elections at that point, I think. And maybe we'll have elections in like December or January rather than March or April.
I won't even say anticipated elections. I think it'll still go on in March or May, whenever it's supposed to be. I just think I think it's perfect opportunity. If he does get it rejected again, that's when we'll finally have an opposition. Maybe João Benedito will come from the dead and say something, or
someone will come
Bruno Mascarenhas, like we had on earlier. And this opposition,
it won't be him.
Party.
It won't be him.
Not him specifically, but a team maybe involving him. Like, I'm trying to find the words he was saying. Like somebody, basically, I think a team like maybe Carlos Vieira, somebody like that, will finally come out from the wind and start now saying.
And we'll have a name behind. There'll be a person that's rallying people, and there'll be a name behind it, rather than
there'll
just
be a face to the party. Yeah,
yes,
rather than just this air of opposition that you're saying.
Blind rage. rage that we don't exactly know where to direct, but we know we have it, So
Exactly.
yeah, and obviously if it passes, he's saved certainly until March, and it's gonna tamper down the opposition, and he'll probably cruise to re-election. Unless obviously he chooses not to run for some reason, but or the Sporting results, as in Bola no Entra, gets like so bad, Sporting starts tanking or something, then something crazy like that, But barring just the normal, we stay in the title race. Maybe we're in first, maybe we're in third, but like 2 points off, it'll be fine, So yeah, the AG on the 23rd is going to be huge. There's like people say, I mean, it's partially true. There's precedent for it. There's going to be a lot of free tickets for the Nucleus for this game. There's not too many free tickets offered up, but before the AG, let's get these old heads to the big game. File them in with some free tickets and a lunch or something. But that's politics too. The whole thing's politics. So us politicking, them politicking, everyone's politicking. It's election season. It's like we're riding up to like a massive vote. Both sides are seemingly energized, I guess. The opposition's energized. The people that want to defend this man are energized, I guess. So I don't know what to expect. Maybe it'll just be a blowout for Varandas. Who knows? It's gonna be like the ultimate pulse check, I think. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, good stuff on that, Christian. Thank you as always. Just got two quick things I want to share, which I've come across on Twitter. One was this morning, which I'll get to first, and I thought it was just a cool video. To be fair, Bruno Carvalho out in a club,
I see
living.
Yeah, when that beat drops, dude,
Jeez.
I'm glad he's having a good time. But it's a cheap shot, right? Obviously, but like, does this make me think any differently of him? Like, no, I was doing the same thing literally like 4 days ago. Like,
I was about to say, bro. I went to this is a random story, but I went to San Miguel. I stepped foot into the hotel that me and my two cousins were staying at. The first thing my guy at the front desk was showing us was the 4 fucking discotheques open. You think I wasn't this fucking like lit fucking a week ago? I was. Man.
The most sucks part of
live it up, buddy.
He chose Urban Beach. That's the only. I mean,
I hear the reputation is amazing.
It's pretty sus there. Yeah, it's a place that doesn't have the greatest reputation. But I mean, if they invited him to be a VIP, fuck it. If they invite me to be a VIP, I go. I've like kind of sworn that place off, but if they invited me to be a VIP, I'd go.
My only regret from my Portugal trip was not going to Woodabin. Only regret.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna add, just like Philippe said, just let him have fun. Like if he's living his best life, and if he's done with sporting and politics, fair play. I can see why. Like just
he isn't though. I mean, not from what we heard from him at least. I don't think he is.
It's hard for him because they do this shit to him.
Yeah, that's true.
They harass him outside of his house and shit.
Who records someone in a club like dancing? Like I understand, like he's sort of a celebrity or like a well-known figure, but that's just so weird to me. Like,
to be fair, he is a celebrity out there, so that's probably why.
It's a cloud chasing. That's like a cloud chasing mentality. They know the video is gonna pop off. It's easy to understand why they know that. Yeah. It's so obvious. And to be fair, if I saw this exact video of Varandas, I would think better of him. I would think more highly of him because I'd be like, he's not a robot. Like he's living, he's having fun. He's out with his friends, having drinks, like partying with the people.
I mean, we did see him out in New York. I mean, you saw. I came too late.
Not the vibe though. Like that atmosphere is like the fucking boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. All I want to quickly say as well, I'm even from the controversy we got today, I'm glad that at least like there's more of an open dialogue with Varandas supporters, or because anti-Varandas has always been there. It's just the Varandas supporters are finally here. You know what I mean? And it's been, and it's not a dig or anything. I'm just saying in terms of like a year ago, people weren't openly supporting Varandas. Maybe they were criticizing. Instead of openly supporting Varandas, it would be, oh, you're just a Brunista. It wouldn't be like Varandas is doing this, and that. At least now it's like there's a decent argument between the two parties, between the anti-Varandas in his administration because of X, Y, and Z. And now at least the Varandas supporters in his administration can at least say, we won a league title. Last year we had the best year in terms of all our sports. We won European competitions. You know what I mean? So it's good to have this debate. I'm low-key even happy that we're going into this next election with not knowing what to expect. Maybe predict. I think Varandas will win. I think this upcoming vote, Varandas is getting everything he
It's
wants.
the most likely outcome, but it's no longer a guaranteed certainty, right?
Exactly. So it's good to see at least. It's healthy to have this sort of debate rather than it being all doom and gloom, or rather than it being like we have a president that's our messiah. You know what I mean? I'm at least happy that this is going on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, pretty much to Rich's point is like, if you want to support Varandas, it's fine. Like, I'm not going to insult you. I'm not going to think less of you. Like, it's your opinion at the end of the day. People have different ways on whether it's a country or a club or anything. Everyone has different opinions on how it should be run. If you want to support Varandas or you want to support Bruno, or I don't know. I mean, if you wanted to support someone like Sousa Sintra, that's a little sus. But like, I mean, like, it's your opinion at the end of the day.
Who's the banker? Ricciardi.
Yeah, Ricciardi.
But yeah, last thing I just wanted to share was just sent to me a few seconds ago. I'll get it up there. Like, I mean, I can't really add much to it, but I mean,
my boy. It's been hard to defend him this year still, but my boy.
He's getting positive media profiles in Italy.
Bruh, he scores one goal on an 11-0 win and everybody loses their fucking minds.
Is it a banger?
I didn't see it. I don't know. I don't even know when he scored. If it was like after the 9-0 of the first half or before. Like
the whole team is very Sporting light these days with the Inacio injury, with Braganza ineligible. Who else is it besides Tomas even?
I think it's just Tomas.
Is it just Tomas now for this round at least?
He scored the 10-0 too. Like, the game was already done.
But yeah, like, I mean, I always maintain that I'm still right about Taylor Tomas. Like, I always said that he has potential to be good, but right now he's not very good. It's not a knock on him. That's just how it is. Like, I mean, he can improve and he probably will. But at the moment,
he is on the younger side out of all of them. Like, he's 19, right?
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And like, I mean, he started off like well. Like, he scored against Aberdeen and Lask, and it was like, shit, this kid.
He scored some goals last season. I
think he had like 5 or 6.
Yeah, he got in there and scored a couple. I remember he scored the winner against Bolnes Sad at the Jamor, if I remember correctly. Yeah, he scored some goals.
I think we were leading at Lask when he scored as well. It was 1-0, and then it went shit after that. But like, I mean, what I don't like about Sporting at the moment, and like this has always been, like, if Thiago Tomas played for Benfica or Porto, he'd be gone. Like, look at what Porto did for that youngster who went to Wolves, it's either Fabio Vieira or Fabio Silva. I think it's Fabio Silva. 40 million, and he didn't even like play like that many games. Or like even like Darwin. I know Thiago Tomas isn't on the same level, but he's being linked to Barcelona, Man City, Man United. It's like, why can't we have that with like Thiago Tomas or like any other player in our academy?
To be fair, dude, now that I'm thinking about it, Thiago Tomas's agent has done a pretty good job. He got him the Arsenal link. He got the next Ronaldo. He knows someone at Tutto Sport, because remember there was the next Ronaldo story.
Yeah. And when
another one in Tutto Sport. They know a fucking journalist at Tutto Sport, and they're doing what they can. Respect.
In terms of the next Ronaldo, remember when they were playing with like the old school players, but that number, like he was number 57, but he had Ronaldo in the back.
He had Ronaldo 52. Fuck yeah.
No, but in terms of Fabio Silva, I agree with you, Sam, because Fabio Silva was sold for 40 million or whatever it was because he was crazy at FM. And let me tell you firsthand, Thiago Tomas is also crazy at FM. Like, come on. Sporting, what are we doing, man? No, but honestly, as a president,
if this was FM, he'd be having so much growth this season, more than he has shown, right? Because like got in the team, we're champion, like got a lot of minutes, he'd naturally like keep evolving if this was FM, but he seems a little stagnated right now.
Here's the thing with Thiago Tomas, as the president of the Thiago Tomas fan club. as you guys well know.
We're
I
two
think
members, aren't
I think he's one of two things. He's been what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's because of Paulinho's constant playing, he's been a little he hasn't been utilized as much as he should. Because I don't think he's a right winger. I do think he can play center forward as well. He has the pace to run behind defenders. It's just the way we're currently playing with Paulinho, our center forward isn't playing behind the defenders. They're playing more in.
Not to interrupt, but if we play 3-5-2, if we play 3-5-2, he's much better served as
agreed
paired with Sarabia up there than rather the lone man in a 3-4-3.
Even paired with Paulinho, because when we did play Dortmund, even though
it wasn't even do that. 4-5-2,
but he was there. He was there with Paulinho, and he could have. In the first half, if I'm not mistaken, there was a chance that if Paulinho gets the pass correctly, I think Tiago Tomás, if he doesn't score, he at least has a target on net.
Yeah.
So he's been a victim of Paulinho's price tag, because if Paulinho doesn't get paid as much as he is, or if the price tag wasn't as high, I don't think there's as much as an urgency to play him as much. That's one. But two, and I got to agree now more with Sam that he was saying last season, and it continues this season. Every time he has come on, any bright spot that there's been has been very few and far between. So with Tiago Tomás, this season is a big one for him in terms of his growth, because he has to grow from not playing. And he has to finally he's young though. That's the problem though. But he has to have a game where when he comes off the bench, he's electric and he actually makes the difference and he takes his chance. And then maybe we can start having that shout of, Tiago Tomás can start, or Tiago Tomás is actually a baller, or we want to sell Tiago Tomás at least 25, 30 million sort of price tag. Right now, it's gone quiet for him because he hasn't been playing, and when he has played, he hasn't been impressive. I have to admit, it hurts to say, but Tiago, Tite, bro, I'm pulling for you, buddy. One top performance, and I'm fucking giving Sam shit on this podcast. We're pulling
for all these guys. Vinagre.
Of course. Reis. I think our energy alone has made Reis fucking incredible.
We are happy for you all to keep improving. We want you to.
Yeah, facts.
But the only thing that sort of annoys me about it, and I don't hate the kids, that is not the issue. It's like people are like, he's only 19. It's like, well, look at Inacio and Nuno Mendes and all of these players who are the same age and have literally not put a foot wrong. And I know striker's different to defend.
But Arouca is kind of a late bloomer in the sense that he's 22, right? So, but yeah. 19, 20, 21, like it feels, to be fair, he's not a lost cause yet, but like he is he shouldn't be with the under 23s or something like that.
Yeah, agreed. And with Bragança, he at least had a loan in his studio, maybe not at 19, but at 20, where we were like, whoa, this kid is fucking next level.
But it's if he continues on the current trajectory, like he's probably closer to a loan next year.
Yeah.
Than,
or January,
which would be a step back, obviously for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was just about to say. I always thought instead of loaning out Pedro Marques, it should be Tiago Tomás, because, I think Pedro Marques is slightly older, if it's like 1 or 2 years even, or they might even be the same age. But I feel like Pedro Marques is
Pedro Marques has like some experience abroad, right?
Yeah, he played in Netherlands for a little bit.
Yeah.
Last year he did well at Juve. This year he's kind of gone.
He's 23.
He's like Bragança's age, yeah. This year he's kind of gone quiet, but like Sam was saying, it's family count, so
yeah. But it's also like at Quaresma, I know he's not been fantastic for Tondela. That's the experience that he needed, because he's no good just sitting off the bench and coming on. The same for Tiago Tomás. Like if we loan him to like maybe not a Famalicão, but like a Tondela, or I don't know, even Arouca coming up, or Estoril, any team like that, I felt like would probably be better for his development, and he probably would shine more than, like Danny said, with Paulinho and even with Sporar, because you have to remember, when Sporar was still here, he was still sort of the big, expensive buy. Then obviously he sort of went south and he got out to Braga. But I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult what to say, because obviously I'm not the kid. I'm not Amarin. I don't know what to do. But you just got to trust him at the end of the day. But let's hope he does get that big move. Like even if it's now or in a few years. We know what we are. We need money. We need to sell players. 30 million for Tiago Tomás in the future, sure. 40 million, 25.
But for that, he has to start performing. And right now, if we're lucky, he gets a 15 million George Mins.
Even a guy like Jovan, who is maybe on the precipice of a 15 or 20, it seems inconceivable now that someone would pay 15 or 20 for him, just in his current form, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And just to answer Rich's question, yes, he has scored.
One.
There was that.
He's only scored one. I've been tracking this like a fucking hawk. He has like 7 apps, 1 goal. It's not ideal, boys. It could be better.
Did you see his Instagram post where it was like celebrating all the fans, and the angle he took was just like no fans in his stadium. But yeah, Chris, I don't know if you had any modalities news ready.
Yeah, I didn't prepare it, so I'm gonna be freeballing it a little bit. So, since the last pod, basketball opened the season and they've had 2 games. I don't remember who they beat in the first game, but they beat Club Iliabam, the Portuguese LA Lakers, purple and yellow. I think it's them. They beat the Portuguese Lakers by like 20. So basketball team's 2-0. Futsal, a bunch of our boys, 6 of them, I think, right, won the Futsal World Cup, and then
Gita got bronze,
and then they won the Stromp or Super. I think it's the Trofeo Stromp, which is like the first trophy of the preseason. Goalball women, European champions. They played the Final Four and they won the semi and the final over the weekend. So shout out to them. Handball, I believe, won after their European qualification, and we got drawn into a group. Basketball also got drawn into a group for their Euro League, which will start next Wednesday as their first game. They'll be every Wednesday after that. We have 2 Belgian teams in our group, so a lot of Belgian action we'll be getting, I guess.
What's the like? I know the Champions League is the top. What's this one? Like maybe 3rd? Like
I think it's 4th. I think it's 4th. So Basketball Champions League, which we were trying to qualify for and crashed out of, was 3rd, and then we went down. So yeah, it'd be like if there was a conference league or something.
Got it.
But to be fair, I guess maybe no. There is a lot. They do play competitive basketball out in Eastern Europe in the same way that the Champions League, every now and again you get a share for a Red Star makes a run or whatever, but like the Eastern European basketball teams are very good, and then like the French, the Spanish, they're all very good too. So a lot of good teams all across all of Europe. So explains why there's so many competition. I believe the roller hockey tied their first game, or maybe it wasn't their first game, but regardless, roller hockey drew. Ladies football drew. B team won. Gonzalo Esteves scored, as well as it wasn't Asugu. Asugu might have had a sister too. Another player. Jenny Katamu, another player who's been always practicing with the first team. Would be a candidate. Sat on the bench in like the Champions League. I think he sat on the bench a bunch. He's maybe made 1 or 2 appearances. And Asugo played pretty well apparently. So that's good to see. Esteves, Asugo, Katamu all playing well and getting it done for the B team. U17s won 2-0 or 3-0 against Portuguese. I don't know the U23 result off the top of my head. And futsal, handball, hockey, goalball.
I feel like the U23 might have lost, if I'm not mistaken. I know one of them lost. Which one lost to Benfica? Was it the B team?
That might have been the U23 actually. Yeah,
I think it was the U23.
Yeah, someone lost to Benfica. That's right. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it that I can recall off the top of my head. Those are the main ones. Those are the modalities that I mostly follow. I don't know the volleyball result if there was a volleyball game. That's like one of the big 4 or 5 pavilion sports that I don't really follow that closely. So sorry, volleyball fans. There's a brand new page, Sporting CP Volleyball. If you're into that, definitely follow them.
Yeah. Thank you as always for that. Unless you two have any other things to add, I think we might wrap it up there. Have you got anything else to add?
I just have a quick shout outs to Lauren, who I met out there in Lisbon, and we went to the museum. Shout out you, Lauren. Long time coming. And Kevin, who I met him at the Porto game, but then I also
the man, the meme himself.
He became a meme. which was sick. And then lastly, a quick shout out to Marco Butello. I don't know if he's on Twitter. I know he's on Instagram. Him and his dad, mainly his dad, watched the podcast. So shout out to Mr. Butello. And when I went out to San Miguel, he was like messaging me right away, bro, where are you at? Where are you at? So shout out to Marco. That's pretty much it, man. In Portugal, I miss you. I love you. The espresso shots, I'm like dying without you right now. I bought some Super Box on my way, not sponsored, but if you want to sponsor us, by all means. I had to buy some Super Box just because I was missing the country like that. I was missing the Finuge and the Minis, but it was a sick trip. And next time I go to Portugal, I hope I don't catch another 5-1 because if it's a 5-1, at least go, Sporting. Because
it doesn't get worse than a 5-1 at home. Buddy, they really don't get worse than that.
Man, I went to go see the Porto.
Could have been raining.
We should have won. When we should have won, it was a 1-1. We all walked out of the stadium like in sorrow, like fuck, I can't believe we tied that game. And then the 5-1, I thought we were about to us Sporting fans were about to slit our wrists all together in unison. I'm not gonna lie, it was cool because we ended up applauding the team and the atmosphere was just amazing. I'm so used to now TFC that I forget the European atmospheres, but just walking out in absolute dismay, it was sad. But a sick experience. And that's all. And I'm glad to be back, boys. Glad to be back.
I have one more politics thing that I just thought of. I'm just reading through my notes. There's one thing I want to talk about from the SAD AG last night. Varandas dropped court cases against his own brother and Godinho Lopes that were brought by the Bruno Carvalho administration for the reason of them being too costly. One seems like a conflict of interest. Two, if the court proceedings against Godinho Lopes and your brother are too costly, Rafael Leão, Ruben Ribeiro, João Mario. 3 very important court cases for the club. I hope those aren't too costly. Last thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Might drop, yeah. We will probably be back, I assume, after the Besiktas game. I don't think Belenenses, no offense to them, deserve their own podcast, especially that's the Portugal game, so it'll probably be a mixture of the two. Thank you, Chris and Danny, as always. Let me just get your Twitter handles up. If you want to follow Chris, there is his at. Same for Danny, and of course, same for me. Thank you all for joining us, and we shall see you soon. Peace.